On the agenda is the Historian's Report. It's kind of a bittersweet time for us at the Northborough Historical Society. Unfortunately, Kathy is planning to retire at the end of June. We'll sorely miss her. So here is Diane Lyford. She's co-chair of the trustees. Diane?
She's been a historian since February 2019. She brought her own flair of doing the trustees, the articles, and she brought the articles from the past to the present, which we really enjoyed. And she did extensive research for all of her articles, and she also did the research for a lot of people would come in and ask her questions. And she would spend a lot of time doing that, and we appreciate that. And she would, her articles, they were informative and with a lot of humor a lot of times, which we really enjoyed too. And she would just volunteer to do things, you know, any projects that needed to be done, she would come up and she would be the first to say, yes, I want to do that. And also, she, on Wednesday afternoons, she would be in the archives. So Kathy, would you come up? We have something to give you as a society, and also Ellen's going to come up with something from the trustees.
The museum trustees have noticed that while you were still on the payroll, for the
Yeah.
month of June, your tenure and experience would not be complete without a breakfast at Chet's.
It'll be the first time I've been in here in the 50 years I've lived here.
So we can come up with
I really, really have loved doing this job, but I've decided it's time for me to sell my house and move on. So, but can I get my report?
Kathy, you have star power.
Still in its still. So I wrote this as if the Mark presentation was going on right after I speak. So anyway, it will be very soon. So here it is. Most of the time, I try to link my historians' meeting reports to the topic of the night's program, with tonight's subject being Northborough's legendary baseball hero, Mark Fidrich, as presented by his close friend, Kevin Merchant. The local link to the program is obvious, but the topic did point me in a direction close to Mark and Kevin, the Northgate neighborhood. Both of the men grew up in that fabled subdivision off South Street, and both names appear often in the We Grew Up in Northgate online group. Earlier this year, as a result of a question from Norm Corbin, who had a lot of questions, by the way, chairman of the town's Historic District Commission, I began researching the origins of Northgate. This type of research is right up this historian's alley. Specifically, Norm's email asked, I've heard that the large Northgate development from the 1950s was built on an old farm. I'm looking for the owner of the farm. Any chance it is in the archives? This is info for the town's historic preservation plan, Norm said. With Northgate having had such an impact on pastoral Northborough of the 1950s, I expected to quickly find that information in our archive. I looked through many files where I the name of the farm owner might be found easily, but I didn't come up with it. So, as is often the case, I sent an inquiry to several society members who had grown up in town. They came up with a couple of different names. One, as it turned out, was correct. August J. Speckman. Once having the name to follow up on, I asked my daughter, Valerie, who is a real estate paralegal and knows her way around the Registry of Deeds records, if she could confirm that. Off she went into the online files. It wasn't long before she sent me a copy of the original deed showing the transfer of 67 acres of Speckman's South Street land to Aaron Smith, a representative of Northgate Corporation. On July 11, 1952, Speckman sold a smaller parcel of about 6 acres to Northgate Corporation. The deed describes Northgate Corporation as being duly organized under the laws of Massachusetts and having as usual place of business Brookline, Norfolk County, Massachusetts. And this is a copy of the plan of the Ellsworth farm showing it subdivided as Speckman and Claflin lots. Valerie's curiosity didn't stop here. She looked further back and found that August Speckman bought the property in 1940 through a foreclosure on the large Lawrence Ellsworth farm in that area. Ellsworth had owned the land since 1934. Speckman is listed in the 1940 census as living on Brigham Street with his wife and large family. So this is how hundreds of Northborough kids came to grow up in what most seem to recall as the idyllic Northborough neighborhood of their youth. Tonight, we will get a close-up look at one of those kids.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you. We certainly will miss you. I look forward to the Hourglass every month. The first thing I look at is Kathy's article. It's not only entertaining, it's humorous, but it's really fact-filled too. Thank you once again, Kathy.